Good evening and welcome. I'm Chris Parnell.
Reporting from Moscow.
Tbilisi.
Times Square.
May your dreams be your only boundaries in life.
Hello and welcome to this week's edition of GHS-TV's award-winning talk show, Crosstalk. I'm your host, Renini Mam. Each week in this time slot, we take a look at different issues, personalities, and events that affect you and our community. The World Health Organization defines health as a state of complete physical, mental, and social well-being, and not merely the absence of disease or infirmity. This week, we're taking a look at what you can do to stay not only physically and mentally healthy, but also nutritionally healthy. Later in the show, we will be joined by Pike Yoga owner Wendy Holmes and David Daly, trainer at Fit Firm Feminine here in Memphis. Joining me now is registered dietitian Jessica Van Cleve from the Church Health Center. Ms. Van Cleve, thank you so much for being with us today.
Thanks for having me.
Tell us about your work as a dietitian.
So as a dietitian, there's definitely lots of different things dietitians do. I specifically work in community settings. The Church Health Center, we treat the working uninsured of Memphis. I work in their wellness department, so we have a gym, we have cooking demonstrations, I teach diabetes education, and then mostly I do one-on-one nutrition counseling with our patients and then our Church Health Center members as well.
Well, when someone says that they're trying to lose weight, we tend to immediately think about exercising, but the right diet is also very important. How do we balance the two of those? Yeah, a lot of people come to me and they've been working out a ton. I work out an hour a day, and that's definitely helpful. But nutrition really takes a lot of that. It's really 80% of our diet is what contributes to weight loss, if that's what we're going for. Exercise, and I'm sure the next couple people will talk more about that, but that helps more with weight maintenance, building muscle and strength and things like that. And nutrition really is kind of the core of it all. So if we're exercising a lot, but we're eating out fast food every day, then we're really not going to see a whole lot of results. And so kind of getting to the core of what people are doing on a day-to-day basis. You know, we're going to indulge every now and then. My motto is everything in moderation. I think we should enjoy our food, but, you know, most of the time we should be trying to feed ourselves healthy and fuel our bodies that way. So, well, what happens when someone takes dieting past the point of being healthy?
So diet is like actually doing a specific kind of diet?
Yes.
So I don't like the word diet. I try not to use that in my counseling practices. I think that that really it's a change in lifestyle. It's a healthy lifestyle. Diets tend to not last very long. People lose weight very quickly, and then they always kind of come back 6 months later and they've gained it back and plus some. So kind of getting people to realize that this isn't a short-term fix. It's not something that happens overnight, but it's changing all those little habits that build up. So yeah, I don't like to use the word diet as often as I can, just because of that kind of that negative thing that people kind of associate with that regain weight that people usually get. So,
well, there are certainly some easy guidelines for all of us to follow to eat healthier every day. We actually have a chart, and Ms. Van Cleve, you can help elaborate on that. The first is make half your plates fruits and vegetables.
So this, I'm sure everyone has seen this My Plate, and I use it fairly often, just because I think, you know, there's lots of things that people can do for specific diseases and things like that, but as a general healthy diet, this is a great rule to go by. So, you know, I always tell people, look at your plate. If half of it's not fruits and vegetables, let's start there. Usually we look at our plate and it's half meat and it's half grains or half starch. The fruits and vegetables are high in nutrients, they're high in fiber, they're low in calorie, they fill us up.
They have lots of antioxidants and nutrients that we need. And so starting there, choosing a variety of colors. There's no specific vegetable you have to eat every day, or you don't have to eat an apple every day. There's just eating half your plate fruits and vegetables at most of your meals.
The next is switching to skim or 1% milk.
Right, so our dairy products can be definitely a great add-in to our diet, but a lot of them are high in fat, high in saturated fat, can be high in calories, and can contribute to high cholesterol and heart disease. And so if you do choose to do dairy, doing the lower fat options still have just the same nutrients, a lot less calories and a lot less fat though.
And making half of your grains whole.
Right, so the other fourth of that plate you saw was grains, and grains can be a good thing. I know a lot of times you hear carbohydrates and bread and that stuff's bad, but we're thinking more of the refined grains, so cakes and sweets and things like that. So for the most part, even if you can do it more than half the time, that's even better. But whole grains would be, oats or whole wheat bread, barley, and there's all kinds of stuff that goes in that category other than just bread is what people typically think. So there's lots of stuff that can go there, but definitely whole grain or whole wheat most of the time is the best option.
And the last one is varying our protein choices.
Right, so, and again, you see that protein is, again, just the fourth of our plate. It's not a half of it or a third of it. It's just that 1/4, which is more like 3 ounces, and a lot of us are getting a lot more than that. Protein, we typically think of meat, and it doesn't always have to be that. It can be beans, it can be legumes, it can be eggs. But if you do meat, trying to choose leaner options more often. Fish, poultry with the skin removed, and lean cuts of beef and pork in moderation is fine.
Mm-hmm. Well, what about dessert?
So dessert, yeah, there's not really, on the plate, there's not a place for that. Again, like I said, everything in moderation. The new dietary guidelines did just come out this week, which I found appropriate for this, and they actually did finally set a recommendation for added sugar, which should be less than 10% of your calories for the day. So if you can stay within that range, then I think that it can fit into your diet. I try not to do something sweet every day. I think our bodies kind of tend to start craving things sweet every day if we always have dessert after dinner. But keeping your added sugars to less than 10% of your calories is the new recommendation.
Well, the chart also says to eat the right amount of calories for you. Mm-hmm. And that goes back to our talk about extreme dieting.
Right. Not everyone needs the same amount of calories. People come in all the time and they're doing a 1,200 calorie diet, and depending on your height and your weight and your age, that may not be appropriate. Our bodies need calories. It's not just about weight, it's about giving us nutrients to get through our day. If you're exercising a lot, you may need additional calories. We can definitely undereat as well, and that's something that, again, could be in that extreme dieting. So you can always go to the choosemyplate.gov, and they can kind of give you a general recommendation, but if you want something more specific, going to a dietitian would be a great option to kind of give you kind of what your calorie needs are depending on what you're wanting out of it.
Well, going back to what you said previously, you don't believe that it should be called a diet. Right. And there's fad dieting in pop culture today. Right. Atkins being the most famous diet of them all, but now people are leaning to paleo and gluten-free diets. Why are so many people attracted to these kinds of diets?
I think because it gives us an easy fix. It's okay, there's one thing I need to stop doing, and that seems a lot easier sometimes than just saying, I just need to make healthier choices all around. A lot of that stuff, it does help lose weight very quickly, and that's the appeal of them. And if you can sustain it and you're eating healthy, sometimes there's not a bad reason for being on those diets if you can do it in a healthy way. A lot of people aren't, though. They're taking it to an extreme, and they're cutting out food groups and they're cutting out nutrients. And that's kind of where the issue lies, is cutting out huge parts of our nutrients and things that we need in our day.
Well, I know and certainly our viewers will take all of this in mind the next time we head for the grocery store. Ms. Van Cleve, thank you so much for stopping by.
Thanks.
We have to take a short break, but when we return, we will explore ways to stay physically healthy with fitness trainer David Daly.
I can't believe we broke Old Man Hennessy's window.
Correction, dude. You broke. I just threw the ball.
This is really bad. What are we gonna do?
Dude, kiss your life goodbye.
Yeah.
Sorry, Big.
Hi. Tell him it was an accident, and we can fix the window. I'll come with you.
GHS-TV has a new website. You can now view any of our shows on our new media pages. Or check out the latest Wake Up Germantown or Red Devil postgame. As always, we're streaming live 24/7. Just visit GHSTV.org today.
Welcome back. This week we're focusing on the body and ways to stay physically and mentally healthy. Joining me now is David Daly, trainer at Fit Firm Feminine. Mr. Daly, thank you so much for being with us.
Thank you for having me.
What influenced you to become a personal trainer?
Well, I've always been in athletics, and I've always had the idea of wanting to help people get physically fit. And it's always been a passion of mine ever since my mom, my dad, my fiance, everybody around me, I always tried to promote physical fitness with them. And so in that, I've just taken on the role of going to school and becoming an exercise science major. And that's my passion. I love it.
Do you have a personal philosophy that you like to incorporate when you are taking on new clients?
Well, first of all, when we take on new clients, we always want to make sure they can move properly before you do any type of exercise. So we'll do a FMS, functional movement screen. And this allows us to pick out where they might be lacking a little bit. Maybe they're lacking something in the hip, maybe ankle, knee, or whatever. And that screen allows us to pull those out, and then we'll follow up and we'll work on that. There's different exercises we have that will correct different things. Like if you have valgus knees that tend to collapse, we'll do stuff on hip mobility. Make your hips a little more flexible so it'll keep your knees straight in line when you do squats. Or shoulder mobility with a bench. You might want to do more stretch and stuff to get a wider span so you can do a better bench press. But before you start doing anything, you have to be able to move. You know, that's the way you start as a human. Babies, you roll over, crawl, walk. Same thing in exercise. You got to be able to do those three things before you can start running, squatting, putting a load on yourself. So that's my basic philosophy for, training somebody.
And at Fit Firm Feminine, move well, move often is one of the central philosophies. Mm-hmm. Well, we talked about nutrition in the last segment, and we know that your founder, Dexter Tennyson, believes that weight loss is 20% exercise and 80% nutrition. That may seem a little backwards to some. So what's your opinion on that?
I think that's absolutely correct. Actually, if you take a 24-hour day, right, you spend maybe an hour, maybe 2 hours for somebody who's really into the gym. So 24 hours, you're only looking at 2% of your day in the gym. So it's actually probably more than 98% diet because the rest of the day you're eating, taking in calories, taking in nutrients, water, whatever. So in my opinion, I think that's actually a little low. I think it's more diet than it is exercise because you're only putting an hour into your exercise a day. So, I agree with the lady before me. So diet's the most important thing, then the training.
And from a personal training standpoint, how do you balance the two of those?
Well, first you got to find your regimen. What's best for you? What works? Some people are morning people. Some people are afternoon people. Some people like to do it at lunch break. So find out what time works best for you so you can make a commitment to do it every day. I mean, whether it's, you don't want to go squatting every day, doing a bench press every day. You don't want to lift heavy every day. You want to just balance out cardio, lift, spread out throughout the days. So that's, but you got to find your niche, what fits you and what works for your schedule. Because if you don't, you're going to abandon it immediately and then you're going to lose your progress you've done made. So find your place that you need to be and the time that works for you. Stick with it and stay with it.
Well, Fit Firm Feminine utilizes group personal training. For someone that's never heard of that before, what exactly is it?
Well, like I said, the FMS, we'll take everybody that comes to us. We'll take them first off and we'll do the FMS screen. If you have mobility issues, we address them, we put it down your chart, we find out where you're lacking, and then we'll start working on those mobility issues. And until you're cleared on all 7 of your different tests, you can't join the group. So doing the personal training to begin with teaches them their moves, it teaches them what they need to do before they get in the group setting. Because if you have somebody that's lacking way, way behind everybody, so you have to constantly take your attention away from this person to keep helping this person. It really takes away from the group. But once everybody's in sync and knows what's going on, you don't have to put so much attention personally, but you can watch everybody, you know what I mean? And we don't have big groups. It's 15 people. and we have 2 trainers in there that are watching at the same time. So everybody gets personal attention and they get their personal training, and if they're lacking somewhere, we'll invite them to come in Tuesday or Thursday, and then we'll do a personal training session to work out those little problems they might have on their mobility. But yeah, it's a really good concept. It works well for everybody we've done it for, and I believe in it firmly. I think it's a really good idea to work like that.
What's a typical class day like at Fit Firm Feminine?
Oh, okay. Well, we start out with everybody comes in. We get our groups, say the 5:30 class. They come in, they start their foam rolling. Everybody does their 15 minutes of foam rolling, and that opens up the muscles, get them ready to do their lifts and whatnot. And then we'll go through their mobility warm-ups, and there's a wide variety of stuff. We'll do about 7 or 8 of them, and they last about 35 to 45 seconds apiece. And we'll go through their whole warm-up progression. Then after that, we'll get to their mobility issues, whatever they're having problems on, because we're having their chart, what their problem is. They go to their individualized mobility work, and they'll work on that for 5 minutes. And then we'll get into our circuit training. We'll get everybody together. Here's a station, here's a station, here's a station, here's a station. 3 people to each group, and we'll go in the circle and work them out. And we'll do 3 sets, and then start another exercise, do 3 sets of that, and then they go to their cool down. It works great. Everybody enjoys it. The groups are all together. The cohesiveness of everybody is real fun to watch. Everybody's having a good time laughing. It's not drill. It's real laid back, but everybody gets work in. Everybody's sweating by the end of it.
Well, the benefits of exercise go far beyond just weight loss. I read that regular exercising can actually reduce stress and anxiety. So how does exercising regularly keep us mentally healthy?
Well, your body, works from the central nervous system. So, and your body's designed to move. You don't move all day, it creates tension throughout the body. If you don't release that tension, you'll get stressed, because all this works together. Proprioception with your peripheral nervous system, your central nervous system, all that works together. And if one thing's off and you get too much tension, that's going to allow the body to get stressed. And once you get stressed, it goes to a mental stress. And then it builds on you, just like if you're having a death in the family or something. Lack of mobility can cause stress, and it can make you worse for wear.
Is there a correlation between how young you start exercising and the reduction of health risks?
Well, yes, of course. You start out younger, the better. Your health risk will diminish. But you can start at any age. If you're 5 and you can move functionally and you're not just all over the place, all just crazy, you can teach them to do body weight work, just to start getting their muscles toned and big, get their functional movements. And then even if you start when you're 60, you can still build from there. We got a client that came in the other day, 65 years old. This is her 2nd week, and she's already got to where she can do almost a full squat. She was getting to where she couldn't even move. And just these 2 weeks of her working, she's already got to the point where she can squat pretty regularly. She can do almost a full push-up, which is really good for a lady that's 65 that hasn't worked out, probably in 35 years. And her mobility's getting better. And I think it's great at any level, any age. If you're going to exercise, just be smart about it. Hire a trainer if you don't know what you're doing. A trainer will give you the best input. That's what they're trained to do. They're trained to help you get better at what you do. But, I think you can train at any age.
Well, I hope our viewers at home that made weight loss their New Year's resolution take this advice to heart. Nice. Mr. Daly, thank you so much for being with us. It's time to take a break. When we return, staying mentally healthy using an ancient discipline, Pike Yoga owner Wendy Holmes will join us, so stay tuned.
Hi. Hi.
GHS-TV has a new website. You can now view any of our shows on our new media pages. Or check out the latest Wake Up Germantown or Red Devil postgame. As always, we're streaming live 24/7. Just visit GHSTV.org today.
Welcome back to Crosstalk. I'm your host, Renimi Mam. On this episode, we're exploring ways to stay healthy. Earlier in the show, we talked to a dietitian and a physical trainer. But staying healthy isn't just about what you put into your body or how many times you exercise each week. Your mental health also plays a very big part. For thousands of years, people have turned to yoga to add some balance in their lives. Joining me now is Wendy Holmes, owner of Pike Yoga. Ms. Holmes, thank you so much for being with us.
Thanks for having me.
Most people know what yoga is, but they don't know the philosophy behind it. So could you explain what it is?
Well, so because it's thousands of years old, as you can imagine, the philosophies have changed a little bit over time as they've moved as we've modernized them a little bit, right? And but the true to the heart, it's about bringing opposites together. So think in terms of sun, moon, things that are hard to easy, masculine, feminine. It's really about moving the opposites in more center.
What makes yoga different than regular exercising and stretching?
Yeah, so I would say the biggest difference is it has a breath component that you're taught. We breathe hard when we're exercising, but this has there's certain pranayama techniques, which are breath work. You can actually do a class that's predominantly breath work and leave really sore. So it's kind of funny that you think, well, how could breath work make my core? But so it's about breath, and then of course the different types of yoga, like a vinyasa yoga, is about moving breath, having breath with movement. So it's in how you utilize, I think mainly the breath. That's what makes it so unique.
Pike Yoga has an interesting motto: attitude, matitude, and gratitude. What's the story behind that?
So, when you're starting a business, people are like, it's like, who's your audience? What's this about? And I found yoga later in life. I'm a PE major, and the yoga that I tried at an early age was kind of boring, and so I just kind of left it alone. And then I went to free yoga classes, like, why are we all not doing this? So this is the slogan of that is kind of this. When you, in your day, a lot of times we build up these energies of attitude. Now, we think attitude is negative, but sometimes it can be joy, it could be good things, but a lot of times it's stress or, what am I trying to, so you build up these attitudes. Then you come to yoga and you're on a mat, right? Matitude is a made-up word, by the way. It means nothing, except for us. It is really about practicing yoga and moving with your breath and where you are that day and what's going on with your body. And so what happens is you have this certain energy of attitude, and then you're practicing, and then almost, I don't want to say every time, but really almost every time, you have a sense, once you have been on the mat, you leave with a sense of gratitude. You really find something in your day to be thankful for, to be grateful for. And so when you move in that direction, whatever attitude you might have had at the beginning of your practice is really very different afterwards.
Walk us through a typical class at Pike Yoga.
Okay, so this is one of my favorite things about yoga is that a lot of times you'll hear the teacher set an intention for the class, or you can set your own intention. So this is about bringing mindfulness immediately into, you start off with breath work, which just create presence and mindfulness in your body. Our worlds are very chaotic, right? We've got iPhones, iPads, school, radio, a lot of things going on. We're moving fast. So you come in with mindfulness and breath, and you'll hear the teacher set an intention, or you can set an intention. I lead my class, and I say things like, you may choose a physical intention such as strength, coordination, balance, just to give people an idea. Or I'll say you could choose a matter of the heart, such as forgiveness, courage, or releasing, and let people move in that direction.
Well, our Crosstalk crew actually visited you at Pike Yoga and interviewed some participants. So let's take a look.
Okay. Two of them. The first one we'll do with our hands here.
I love yoga so much. I want to keep doing it even without the swim team because I love coming here.
So we took advantage of this, and it was about 2 months ago, so we've just been coming every Friday, and it's been really awesome.
It's actually sort of hard. I wasn't expecting it to be as hard, and you sort of have to do a lot of ab work, which I wasn't expecting that, and making sure you do the right breathing patterns and everything, that's a little bit of a challenge. Also doing headstands and handstands against the wall, you're sort of scared to at first. It's very relaxing, and it's very different type of workout.
My favorite thing about yoga is just, it's a time to escape. It's a time to recognize your body for what it is and notice things that you wouldn't usually notice, and just accept it for what it is, and then try to improve it while not stressing too much. It's for everybody. It's completely about the human body and recognizing yourself, and a lot of people need that, and most people don't realize they need it. So
it's interesting that some of these students are from the Germantown Athletic Center swim team. So they come to your yoga classes?
Yeah, so my background is actually in personal training and in fitness. And so after finding yoga, I was like, you know, as I already said, why is everyone not doing yoga? Because it literally complements any activity that you do, even a couch potato. So you know what? It really there is a certain yoga. Maybe not every yoga is for everybody, but you can find a yoga that works for you. And so my interest is in working with athletes because they're very strong and they move well. And I thought if they had, they're great at what they do, but can you imagine if we added some breath work and some calmness and mindfulness and stretching to the areas that need stretching? They're going to be even faster and better and stronger. So,
yoga is proven to reduce stress and anxiety. Is it also helpful for people suffering from depression?
Absolutely. Yoga is actually based on the different types, or what you might in your research can be very healing. It's very, as I think the trainer said earlier, we tend to hold on to things in the body, and you'll see it come out both physically, emotionally, and mentally. You don't always know when or how that's going to manifest, but these techniques help individuals move through those so that they can manage them better, chronically or short term.
Ms. Holmes, thank you so much for coming on the show and explaining to us how yoga not only helps us mentally, but it also assists us physically and emotionally.
Thank you.
I think we can all agree that maintaining a health lifestyle is important for completing our daily tasks. I'd like to again thank all of our guests for coming on the show today. Remember, Crosstalk can be seen each week at 9:30 a.m. and 7 p.m. on Mondays, 9 a.m. and 7 p.m. Thursdays, and 7:30 p.m. on Sundays. For more information on our programming, please check us out on the web at GHSTV.org, where we're streaming live 24 hours a day. You can also check us out on Facebook and Twitter. I'm Renee Ma'am. From all of us at GHS-TV, thank you for watching Crosstalk, and I hope to see you again.